So you're listening to Lore Friendly with Chris Takahashi and Alice Bell. How are you doing, Alice?
Hello, everybody. Sorry for the break.
It was my fault because we did actually record a podcast like a couple of weeks ago, and you recorded it, I didn't.
Yeah, basically.
Something happened. It was totally not my fault. Like, it was a lightning storm or something. I don't know.
But yeah, then the week after, nothing happened.
That's true.
Like, we were looking around for things to talk about, and we were just like, nope, nothing's happened. And then this fucking week, it's gone insane.
Yeah, we have a lot of things to go over. There's like been a ton of news.
There's so much shit. So much shit to talk about.
Should we start then? Should we talk about Fallout 76 first? Pete Hines' interview.
Yes.
He said that he believes that Fallout 76 is going to go on forever, and that it's one of those games that it's going to be like games as a service as opposed to a game you play and finish, which is kind of like a buzzword now, games as a service. It's like a really popular thing.
But it doesn't sound fun.
What do you think about that? I guess you already told me you don't think it's going to be fun.
I don't like the language that they're using for it, you know?
It's too much marketing speak for you.
Yeah, it sounds very much marketing mumbo-jumbo, which I'm not a big fan of, honestly.
Well, if you think about it, his point is that Skyrim and Fallout still have hundreds of thousands of players every month. So that there is a market, even for a game that isn't even designed for this kind of long-term play. It's solely based on replayability, though, I would say, as far as Skyrim and Fallout go. With this one, it's just supposed to just keep going on forever. It's more like an MMO? I don't know. I'm not sure what the proper genre or what you would call it.
I'm not sure, actually. But they've tried to make an infinite game before. It's like you have the Radiant Quest in Skyrim.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
And they're shit. And like, yeah, technically you're never going to run out of quests to do or anything like that, and it is technically unlimited content. But the reason why Skyrim and Fallout 4 have lasted so long, and why people are still playing Fallout 3, is because of the modding scene.
There will be mods for this game too, though, but I don't think it'll be quest content or anything like that. It'll just be probably new guns, new armor.
Which is fucking boring.
The one thing that will be different is that there'll be people. There'll be actually human beings, and the world space is going to be like, what, is it 3 times larger than Fallout 4? I'm not sure. It's supposed to be huge.
I don't know how big Fallout 4 was, honestly.
Huge. So I'd say it's about as big or slightly bigger than Skyrim. So it's going to be a huge landscape.
Huge land space. Huge.
And there's going to be, I'm sure, a lot to explore because there's not a lot of talking, right? We're not going to have any NPCs, so it's going to be more environmental storytelling, I'm guessing.
Yay, journals. My favorite thing.
Not journals so much as like people, right? People that just died.
Yeah, but I love journals.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there'll be journals too.
Journals
are
my favorite video game trope for storytelling.
So it's gonna be one of those things that it's gonna last forever. Forever is a long time. It's like a hard thing to say because I mean scientifically that's impossible because there's gonna be a heat death of the universe and our sun is probably gonna, I don't know what's gonna happen to our sun.
You know what will survive the end of the universe? Fallout 76.
Oh, will it?
It's just going to be a copy floating in space.
Oh, what we could do is we could send it to another universe, like, you know, in the multiverse. Maybe there's another universe that sort of lasts longer, is on a different timeline. We could send it over there, and then we can, you know, otherwise Pete Hines will be a liar. We don't want to make him a liar.
Well, that seems like a lot of effort to make someone not a liar. I think they should just not make as ambitious a claim, personally.
Well, I mean, I think it's probably implied that it means forever as long as humans still exist and have the internet.
Well, what if the super mutants want to play video games?
That's true. Or the robots. The robots could play video games, but I'm not sure if they will.
The robots could live in a video game. That is the ultimate goal.
But they would have their own video game, wouldn't they? They wouldn't bother with us. It's like, do we care about like what games like animals are playing? Like if the chimps in the forest are playing a game, do we kind of like insert ourselves into that game or do we come up with our own games?
Yes. You've obviously never played with a hamster that's in a ball.
So is that one of your favorite games to play? You play with hamsters and cats and dogs. I guess we play fetch with dogs. That is true.
Yeah.
But most of the time, we play our own video games that are much more complicated. I imagine that's what the robots would do, right? The robots would play their own games that are so hard and such like a high difficulty that our human brains just cannot keep up or cannot comprehend what's going on.
What, so like EVE Online?
Yeah. Dark Souls, pretty much.
Nah, Dark Souls is more skill, I think.
Yeah, well, they'll have high skill, too.
Rather than just
It's been a month.
Complicatedness.
It's been a month. It's hard to talk. So
yeah,
basically, they'll not only have the brain games that are super skilled, they'll also have the like physical dexterity games. Like, I mean, like a robot will have like, I don't know, they might have like 10 fingers on each hand. Who knows? Oh, that might be inefficient, but they'll be just, they'll be playing games at a speed and skill that we will not comprehend. And then every now and then, when they want to humor us, they'll play fetch with us and go on Fallout 76 and kick our ass.
Oh, we'd get so... I want robots to play VR with us. I think that would be so much fun.
They would have to have like some kind of empathy, because we play fetch with dogs because we care about dogs or we have empathy.
Because we love dogs.
Yeah, exactly. Would the robots have empathy for us? Is empathy like a higher cognitive skill or aspect of cognition, I should say?
My personal feeling is that empathy is inherent in
higher intelligence
living beings.
But is it inherent in beings of high intelligence? That's the question.
Well, you have psychopaths, don't you? They're characterized by a specific lack of empathy, and a lot of them are generally very high rising.
Yeah, because we know that computers are going to be smarter than us. That's like a given, right? But what does smarter mean? Does that mean that they'll be more compassionate or less compassionate? Will they have more empathy or less empathy because they're smarter? Will they see it as something that is just like emotionally driven or something that's in our DNA that is a flaw? Or will they see it as something that's a benefit? Or so it's one of those things.
Well, I don't know, actually. This is getting very deep very quickly. I mean, I'd like to think that compassion and empathy is part of the perks of being a human. But I don't know. There's the whole trope of, like, empathy and emotion being weakness. I'm just rereading Harry Potter and
It is important for a community of humans to survive, right? You have to care for each other, or else we're going to, like, kill each other, right? But if you're, like, some super high intelligence robot, I guess maybe you would want to form a community with other really high intelligent robots. I don't know.
Yeah, but they'd still have to communicate and cooperate.
Yeah, exactly. Would they? Or would they just like constantly just crush each other? Whoever the smartest one was would... I don't know. It's complicated. The point is Fallout 76 will be there for them to play
when they want something mind-numbing. You know, kind of like how humans play Minecraft.
Because it's going to be there forever. It's going to outlast us. Is there anything else interesting he said in his interview? He said a lot of stuff in his interview.
Yeah, he talked a lot. And a lot of it was marketing mumbo-jumbo. Wasn't there the whole thing about Sony being really stupid about cross-platform play?
I think that was an older thing.
Or is that skipping ahead a bit?
That was an older thing, I think.
No, it's come out this week that controversially Sony is refusing to allow Elder Scrolls Legends to have cross-platform play.
Yeah, that's just been their policy on everything, though, because they just don't want to do that. They want people to sign up for their own network. I don't know.
Yeah, but Bethesda's being really angsty about it.
Yeah, Bethesda wants... Because it makes more sense. It's better for their business if you have cross-platform play. Sony just doesn't want to do it. I don't know why. They're just weird.
Yeah, I've actually downloaded it.
Oh, how is it?
Because it's free on the Apple iStore. So I might have a bit of a play around with it at work tomorrow.
Nice.
And maybe next week I can give you my first impressions.
Wait, is this the card game?
Yeah.
Okay. One of the other things, I'm just looking through the interview, he also mentioned is that they're kind of not worried about releasing during the holidays. The interview seems to imply that that's like a mistake, like financially. Like there's a lot of games that suffered, whether it's Wolfenstein or Dishonored, I believe he mentions, because of the release date. Is it going to be a problem?
But Fallout's the big IP.
Yeah, it is not a single-player game, though. So are we worried it's not going to sell because of that? Do we care?
Honestly, I think that if it was releasing in the Christmas window, it'd suffer more. Because all the big titles want to release in that Christmas window. They want the title of being the Christmas blockbuster.
Red Dead Redemption is coming out the end of October, so Fallout 76 is in November. It is kind of close to that.
Yeah. God, is it that close?
Yeah, they're just going to start the beta in a month.
Fucking hell.
That's one thing I like about Bethesda releases, other than Starfield and Elder Scrolls, which they had to kind of mention because, like what we talked about, people were getting antsy. But they release, like, right after. Like, they announced in the summer for Fallout 76 that it was coming out, and they're releasing in November. Same thing with Fallout 4. They announced that game during the summer of 2014, I think.
Yeah, well, they only had to, I think the reason why the Skyrim announcement was so early on in the year was also because their hands kind of got pushed by the whole leaking on the airplane thing.
Yeah, see, I prefer them to kind of, like, announce, get hype for a few months, and then release, like...
Yeah, it's a much nicer way of doing things. I hate knowing that a game is coming and then just having to wait for it. Yeah. And I've got some very pertinent examples of that in later on in the podcast.
Not sure what else he mentioned. I mean, the numbers for Fallout 4 and Skyrim, though, that's probably old news. Most people are aware, just based on the Steam numbers, that they still have tons of players. And that's just for PC. If you look at consoles are probably going to be triple or quadruple that amount.
Oh, God, yeah.
And so, games as a service, it's kind of like a thing now. I mean, Fortnite is a big deal. Like, apparently in the UK, 5% of all divorces have something to do with Fortnite.
That would not surprise me, honestly.
Is it that big of a deal? I have not played Fortnite. What is it exactly? Is it a battle royale?
It's a battle royale game. But basically, my old housemate never played video games. Mm-hmm. She is addicted to Fortnite. That is how much of a sensation it has become.
And is it like a paying service? Do you have to pay monthly to play?
No, I think it's I think it's microtransactions. But you don't have to microtransact to be successful.
I mean, you probably do have to buy the game, like just purchase it to play it, right?
No, I think it's free.
Oh, is it?
It's free.
Oh.
Yeah.
Man, they must be really raking on the microtransactions. I bet they look really good, like the clothes and the outfits. You want to be stylish, right?
I am stylish. What are you talking about?
I mean, in your virtual life.
I'm stylish in my virtual life as well. When the default skins all the way,
when
bro.
The fucking like super AI comes to play fetch with you and decides to play Fortnite for like an hour just to for kicks. You want to look your best. You want to impress the super AI.
Maybe they'll have mercy on our poor unfortunate souls.
Because it'll probably be able to scan all the players in the game in like 1 second. And if they're all wearing default skins and then you're the only one in your fancy microtransaction skin that looks really nice, they'll be like, oh, that person's unique. They're one in a billion.
Let's let this human on our team. Token human. We're not racist.
So there you go. I can see the appeal of that. I know when I played Destiny for a little bit, I was kind of disappointed that I looked like everybody else. I wanted to be unique, but I couldn't be because you can't really change your appearance on the much.
You wanted to be cool.
Yeah. Everybody wants to be unique. But yeah, so it is a problem for marriages so hopefully if your roommate ever does get hitched, she will learn to curb her Fortnite habits for the sake of her husband and children, or wife and children. We don't know.
Fucking hell. In other... God, there's so much Bethesda news that's come out. Fucking hell.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so there is also this Redfall leak.
Yeah, they trademarked the name Redfall, for those who aren't aware. That could mean anything, though. It could be, like, the name of some kind of, like, I don't know, Pez dispenser that they're coming out with next month. It's like those hot tamales, or what are they called? Those little red fucking gummies.
What?
Are they called Red Hots? What are they called? Red candy? I'm gonna Google red candy. Hot. Red Hots? Are they called Red Hots? Is that it?
I've never had them, mate.
They're kind of like synonymy, I think. I think it's called hot.
They sound disgusting.
No, they're good. They're good. But yeah, we don't know what it's gonna be. I mean, what do you think Redfall is, just by the name?
Well, it upsets me a little bit because I really, really wanted it to be set in the Somerset Isles. Oh, I've just had a thought. So, you know what the Empire's colours are?
I don't.
Red.
Ah.
Fall.
See, that's what I was going to say. You can twist the words to mean whatever the fuck you want. If you want it to be about Morrowind, Redfall can be the volcanic ash or the volcanic eruption, the fall of
the
lava.
Collapse of the Red Mountain.
Exactly. If you want it to be about Hammerfell, you can make it about Redguards. Redfall. If you want it to be about the Somerset Isle, you say
that they're covering the Empire in blood.
Exactly. If you want it to be about Fallout, you could say the Reds are the communists. You can make it to be whatever you want. It could even be a card game or a Pez dispenser. It can be hot tamales.
Gonna pop my pills from Pez dispenser.
But yeah, Redfall. Start speculating now.
Yeah, well, the article that you linked me said basically that the general consensus is that it's in High Rock. But I don't know. Nobody cares about the Bretons.
Plus, they already did a game in High Rock, didn't they? Isn't Daggerfall in High Rock?
Yeah, but they also did Labyrinthian in Daggerfall. Or Arena.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, but that was like one of those games that went to all of the provinces, right?
Yeah, so...
Daggerfall is like an Elder Scrolls type... Well, it wasn't the kind of game we know now, but it took place in the province. It was like one of those things, right?
Yeah, it went all across Tamriel, didn't it?
No, the opposite. Didn't it stay? I don't know. I haven't played the game, so I wouldn't know.
No, I thought that Daggerfall was all over the place.
Isn't Daggerfall a place, though?
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like if I made a game called Los Angeles, I'm not going to go to San Francisco, have it set there. I'm not going to have it set in fucking Brighton if I'm playing like GTA San Andreas or something. It's going to be set in San Andreas, which isn't a real city. It's a fault. But yeah, and a movie.
I don't know. I never played it. I never played Daggerfall.
Yeah, neither have I. We're just speculating on things we don't know, which is kind of par for the course.
Right, okay, Daggerfall is High Rock and Hammerfell. But hang on, if they're calling it Daggerfall, Redfall just seems like it's copying.
Yeah, could be. See, you can make it seem like whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, Daggerfall, Redfall. That's so obvious.
But you could also say it's about the Red Mountain. Could be about anything.
It could be. I just don't think that's a very good name, personally. It doesn't sound very cool, does it?
Maybe that's why nobody else has trademarked it.
Maybe they trademarked it to throw people off the scent.
Could be. Would they just do that?
Probably. People trademark all kinds of crazy shit.
Yeah, that's true. But usually they do it because they themselves are crazy and think that trademarking a word would make them rich.
I want to copyright the word copyright.
I don't think you can do that.
Damn it.
I don't actually, maybe you can, but I don't think there would be a game or a movie or any kind of entertainment thing that would be appealing if it was called copyright. Like, that's not a game that I want to play.
Yeah.
That's not a t-shirt I want to wear.
Oh, God. In more Skyrim news, there's a Switch page on Nexus.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Why?
So Nexus, I guess they now have a page for the Nintendo Switch version of Skyrim. So
Yep.
I guess that means that the Switch is moddable, which is something I didn't know.
Maybe if they just crack into the game a little bit.
Yeah, it seems like it would require some kind of like hack of the console itself, right?
Yeah. I don't think it's a completely
Legitimate.
natural type thing.
Yeah, and if it does require that kind of thing, then I'm not sure why it's legal and so why Nexus has the page, but maybe there is some kind of legal loophole. But yeah, that's interesting. Skyrim mods for the Switch.
Because of course there are. God. And in other Nexus news, drama!
Oh, let's talk about that. So on Reddit recently, there was a post that mentioned that there was a secret mod author discussion forum on the Nexus called General Mod Author Discussion, GMAD for short. And this person called GMAD Lad said that on this Reddit forum that mod authors, a group of mod authors, not all of them, like they basically just go on there and just like talk crap about users all the time. And just like there's especially one toxic forum thread, according to this person, called dumb user comments, where everybody just posts like all the idiotic user comments that people make, and they all like have a laugh. This is what this person is claiming. And from my experience, like, first of all, I rarely ever go to that forum because you can't even lurk it. You know how on Nexus, if you're reading a forum, your name pops up in the bottom corner?
Yeah.
So you can't even lurk it. Like, especially a restricted forum like this, because you have to be logged in as a mod author. The second thing is that there's not like a really high requirement to get in this page, so it's not like it's really an exclusive forum on the Nexus.
It's not super secret.
No. Like, basically pretty much every modder, I'm not sure what the requirement is, it might be like 5,000 downloads or something, but a lot of modders see it, and like barely any people post, which is one thing the guy said, or the girl said on the forum post. But I've never really seen it to be that toxic. Like, there's like a few people that just pass around like, the occasional weird comment here and there, but it's drama-wise, it's kind of disappointing. Like, I wouldn't...
A couple of shitheads.
I wouldn't even say that it's something that is really pervasive in terms of just mod authors constantly shitting on users. It's to be honest, it's nothing special. Like, I love drama. I like reading drama. I would lurk...
Drama's my favorite
I would totally
thing.
lurk that page if there was tons of drama, but there isn't. It's pretty tame. So I don't see what the hullabaloo is about.
Oh, that's boring. I thought you could give us some really cool insight.
I told you it was going to be boring, but as a user, does it surprise you that there are mod authors who, post?
No, I work in customer service.
So you have your own, like, dumb user comments thread. It's just it's not virtual, it's a real one. You guys sit and chat about dumb users. Yeah, it happens in any workplace. You talk about, like, customers all the time.
You talk shit.
Yeah, exactly. And at least...
You gossip.
And in your case, at least you're paid for it, because it's work.
Yeah.
In this case, you're not even paid for it, so there's even more venting. But even with that said, there is not a lot of venting going on there, from what I've seen. Granted, I don't go there all the time, or ever, really. But from what I've seen, just browsing it, yeah, it's pretty tame. It's pretty tame.
Huh. God, that's so boring. I wanted some proper drama. I wanted you to tell me that you've been bitching about users behind their back and you regretted it all.
Like I said, I don't even lurk because, like, they could see who's lurking anyway, so it's kind of like you can't really lurk. They know you're there, and then they're gonna, like, point you out. So I think there was, like, some mod authors, like, going back and forth back when DD Productions, like, Thalassa mentioned this in the Reddit thread, I think, that, like, DD Productions, like, was banned from that forum, but, he's just, like, one of those guys who just likes to stir shit. So him and a couple other modders, I think they were going out, but he was, like, doing it on purpose, like, just deliberately testing the boundaries of the forum. But other than that, it seems pretty tame. It's not exciting. So that was that. I mean, we saw that big, like, Reddit thread. It was like, this GMAD lad made a huge deal about it, like, oh, there's a secret forum and it's got, like, lots of drama, but no, it's no drama. It's just pretty boring. It's pretty tame.
Well, that's disappointing.
I know, I like drama. Don't you like drama? We would have tons to talk about.
Yeah, I love drama.
If there was drama. We could sit back with our popcorn, we could talk about it, but it's much ado about nothing.
Oh. But you know what is dramatic, though?
What?
So, we were going to record this podcast on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
However, I was feeling absolutely knackered, and I couldn't be arsed with it. So we decided we'd leave it until the next week. And, turns out that over the weekend, Telltale Games has shut down. Fucking hell.
Yeah, that is crazy, but not surprising considering they had over, like, 300 employees, which shocked me when I read it.
How? How can they have over 300
I don't
employees?
know. It could be something legal, like, to do with licensing. They do a lot of big name, like, titles, right?
Yeah.
So maybe that, like, it's like 250 lawyers and, like, 50 developers or something. You never know.
The thing is with Telltale is that they have churned out so many games of pretty mediocre quality.
Yeah. It's a type of niche gaming, too. It's not something that everybody wants to play because there's not much gameplay. It's more of like an interactive story. So it's not something that, like, even if it's well done, that the market is huge for. So it totally makes sense that they would get shut down. What isn't cool is that they would be hiring new people like this close to knowing what position was financially, that they would be hiring new people, that they would be not paying people severance after firing them. It's just, there's just a lot of like shady practices that wouldn't happen if like developers had a union, and had some protection. But yeah. Oh, they work overtime too. There's another tweet that said that they worked a ton of overtime trying to get things released, and they weren't paid for it. So, not good.
Yeah, it's not painting a very good picture of the workplace environment that they had there, is it?
And it's pretty much for all video games. I would say video game companies, that because there's no unions, because there's no protection. In a lot of ways.
Well, this is the issue that we talked about during the whole what
voice
call
actor
it?
strike.
Yes, that's the one. It's the it's the same thing that we were talking about during the voice actor strike, because we were talking about how if the voice actor strike went the way that the actors wanted it to go, then it was most likely that other aspects of the tech industry would start to unionise properly as well, which would mean that they would have more rights, which would mean that they would have access to severance pay. It would mean that they wouldn't be able to go to work only to find out, by the way, pack your bags, you've got to be out in an hour, kind of thing, because there's no protections.
Yeah, it's the industry as a whole probably needs a lot of just progress and change that other industries have fought for. It's just, there's a template there to follow. It's just right now, it's just not in place. And part of the problem is that budgets are getting bigger and game prices are not. Like, there's such a pushback against any kind of raising of prices or doing any kinds of like microtransactions or anything where they could make more money off it.
Well, the thing is, I think the thing with the budget thing is that so much money is put into marketing generally. Now, obviously, this isn't the case with Telltale, because Telltale are kind of like an internet company. They don't thrive on big TV advertisements and things, at least how I've seen.
Well, I still think like they put a good share into marketing because I've heard of them. Any company that you've heard of that you don't play regularly, that requires marketing. Like, marketing is such a huge aspect of selling any game. So they must be doing something in terms of marketing.
I think the way that they focused their marketing was more on Let's Plays and things like that. But obviously that's not ideal because, people think that you can get the full storyline from a Let's Play. And people just sit there and watch the Let's Play rather than... I've lost my train of thought.
You're right.
Rather than play the game.
I just don't think there's a big enough market for it. So, like, you're marketing to people, but are you doing it efficiently? Are you targeting your audience? Like, if you market to someone like me who doesn't really play, like, these interactive story games, it's kind of just, like, a waste of money. It's a waste of dollars. I'm not sure that they were targeting their audience correctly in a way that would, like, minimize costs and maximize profits, but who knows? It's not my area of expertise, but it feels like that Telltale Games are something that's marketed because we all know about it. But should it be marketed that heavily? Should it waste? I don't want to say waste, but should it spend money on advertising when the majority of the audience isn't even interested in playing the game? So it's just,
Yeah, I think the issue that Telltale ran into is like twofold. So, like, first things first, they bought up all these IPs. They've got like 10 projects on the burner, kind of thing, and because they had the initial success with Walking Dead, which was absolutely fantastic because it was a really well written game, and then they got known as being this story that does this game that does emotional storytelling and things like that, and they tried to put that across all these other IPs that they had.
Yeah.
And they just bit off way more than they could chew, and because they bit off more than they could chew, they rapidly hired hundreds and hundreds of people, which realistically their studio probably didn't need, kind of thing.
You should be able to do the math, though. Accounting wise, you should be able to anticipate how much you're going to sell and how much you can afford.
I think the way that they've done it is they have projected each one of their releases as having the same level of impact and profit as the first Walking Dead did. But apparently sales have been in complete decline since the first Walking Dead.
Yeah, but didn't they hire people a month ago? Shouldn't they have foreseen a dip in sales, dip in profits? I don't know. We don't know.
Well, you know what corporate is? Dicks.
It's hard to really tell without being inside.
Yeah.
moving on, another exciting piece of news. This one's more positive. Is that the Fallout 4 New Vegas mod? The Fallout 4 New Vegas team has released a trailer of the opening sequence, and it actually looks really good. It looks really faithful to the original opening part of New Vegas. We didn't get to go outside. We stayed the whole time in Doc Mitchell's house, but it looks pretty incentive.
You sound so surprised.
They've shown outside footage. It just wasn't in this trailer, but...
No, you sounded really surprised that it actually looks good.
No. It's Fallout 4. It's basically Fallout 4's engine. It's Fallout 4's, graphics and all that. So it's going to look a lot better. The thing that, from a technical standpoint, that looks impressive is just the fact that they reworked the dialogue. That might be a Fallout Cascadia thing where they had a dialogue tool that they lent this team. But that's the stuff that's like super impressive because that has to be done like outside of what the vanilla Fallout 4 game is.
You have to actually get in there and mess with the actual mechanics.
Yeah, and they got a voice actor for Doc Mitchell because apparently that's what happened with the Fallout 4 project, where they're trying to port Fallout 3 into the new engine, but Bethesda said no to the voice acting. Porting the voice acting. You knocked him with No More. He was the guy who was involved in that project. But with Fallout 4 New Vegas, they just decided we're just going to replace all the voice acting, which is crazy. I mean, there has to be like 60,000 lines. I'm not sure. I mean, there's got to be a ton of lines in the base game. So they're going to replace all of that with voice acting people. So
well, you know what modders are, mate?
And what's that?
Crazy.
That's true. They are crazy and dedicated.
Absolutely fucking balls to the wall crazy.
Of course, a lot of these projects don't get done. They do become vaporware. So here's hoping this one will actually be finished. I mean, it's an ambitious project. They got through Doc Mitchell's house and they released a trailer. But looks good. Looks great.
I'm always down for more positive news in the world.
What else happened this week?
You know what, mate? There's been so much stuff that's happened this week. I'm still mourning the death of the wolf among us. And honestly, why did all of this shit come out in 1 week?
I don't know.
I haven't even gotten around to watching the new Death Stranding trailer.
It's not... They called it a gameplay trailer, or IGN did. I'm not sure which site did, but it's not actually a gameplay trailer. It's just...
Of course it's not.
It's just Troy Baker doing a monologue, and then some giant weird... Like, I don't know, it looks like a giant asshole with legs kind of pops up and attacks Daryl, Space Daryl.
Daryl!
So that came out. Tokyo Game Show is this weekend, so there's a lot of, I'm sure, new trailers and shit coming out.
Good.
How are you? How is life?
Me? Mate, I'm knackered.
You sound tired.
I'm a working girl. I'm a working girl now, mate.
It sounds like your energy levels are low. It sounds like you've become an adult and you realize just how difficult that life is.
Mate, I'm having to work to earn money. It's not all it's cracked up to be.
It's not. Plus, you have school, right? You're still doing school?
No, I'm done with school.
Oh, okay. Fuck school then. But you're doing work. You're doing work, and work sucks.
Working hard or hardly working.
Yeah.
I'm having to adjust to being an adult, and it's not going so well. Work sucks. I know.
All right. Well, you seem tired and ready to go to sleep. So.
It's because I'm hot. I've been hopped up on caffeine, and now I'm not. I'm crashing.
All right. Well, I guess that's it for this episode. Lore Friendly.
Say goodbye, Chris.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.